Hello! Hi, welcome to Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs tonight. It's lovely to see so many of you here, lovely faces. Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs is for anybody to come and talk about how they perceive sex and drugs within the gay male community. Tonight we have a theme a little bit different, because usually we have themes like friendship or love or something like that. But tonight we have a theme of fireworks. It is fireworks night, obviously. Next up we have a wonderful, wonderful poet who is quite well known on the gay scene now. But it's been away from London, unfortunately, because he's at university in Leeds. It's great for him, but bad for us. But he's back again tonight. It is Nash. Please go for Nash.
Well, I'd started off by trying to use fireworks and the idea of fireworks as, you know, that explosion of emotion that you get when you come out, the first time you have sex possibly, and then, you know, the first time you feel rage because of like homophobia or something someone says to you, but just trying to use that as that explosion of fireworks. But that failed.
My name's Patrick Cash, and I'm the host and promoter and organiser of Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs. So I said, choose, drugs or me, and he paused. And in that pause, our bonds were broken and our ties were unravelled loose.
My name's David Stewart. I work at 56 Dean Street and I manage the Dean Street Wellbeing Programme. And as part of the programme, we support Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs, which I do with my mate Pat.
I began working for a gay scene magazine that was a lot of nightlife. I began seeing drug use quite a lot around, and then I interviewed David and met David about the Chem situation in London, so seen a lot of methadone in clubs, etc. And David said that one of his problems was that we couldn't get the community itself speaking about it, and I was running an open mic night for spoken word that has a format where everyone gets 5 minutes, and I said, what about if we just tried that out for this and called it something outrageous, like Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs.
Going to Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs actually is what made me realise that I had a job to do among the community, and everything that I'd gone through in the past, I'd gone through to be able to do this job that I need to do, and that is help other people. All well and good, like, you know, some person in a clinic telling you, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, but actually it probably sounds a lot more genuine coming from someone that's been there and got out the other end. I write things now especially for the night, but when we began I hadn't. I wrote it because I had stuff to get off my chest, and it just turns out that the stuff that I had to get off my chest seems to be a lot of the same stuff that other people need to get off their chest.
Let's Talk About Gay Sex and Drugs began as a place where people who had experienced ChemSex or were concerned about it within their community could voice those concerns in a safe space. It's turned into a cultural safe space for a community of gay men and more that are looking for a gay community that is more nurturing, more cultural, and an alternative to the sometimes hard bar, club, drug, sex, sauna culture that's so easily available to us all.
At the first one, I thought we had completely failed. No one wanted to speak. No one wanted to get up there. We had a couple of like therapists who were like advertising their clinic. So we went to the first break, and I thought we're gonna have to close this early. Then during the break, like people like had to have a couple of beers, and they'd listen to like one or two people, like close friends, who I cajoled into getting up there. And yeah, they started coming to and saying like, actually I will speak. And then we had a whole night.
There is always a trigger, and it doesn't matter where you are. This is kind of why I write on my phone, because that trigger can come anywhere at any point, and that's the starting point. I was walking down the street and I was like, I want you to clap your hands, and if you can, use your lung as fans. Now imagine you're being
splashed in the face with warm seawater. This is a pivotal moment, a feeling most of you will remember, a moment your outlook and the world's opinion changed forever.
Now that was the idea, like, you know, when you come out to someone or you come out to family, your heart's beating constantly, and then it feels like just, you know, as you're sweating, and that's the warm seawater, as you're sweating, you're feeling this cool breeze in your face, and that's the fans. You're really nervous, it's scary. You don't know how someone is going to react. It's fear, and this is all just to tell someone that you're gay. You shouldn't even need to tell someone that. It shouldn't even be an issue.
The hardest thing is always getting people to speak, because it's nerve-wracking, whether you've done it once or done it 1,000 times, like getting up there in front of people and bearing yourself, you know, however you choose to do it, because people can do whatever they want, whether it be spoken word poetics or like some kind of like political polemic, or they want to sing, or they want to do drag or some kind of comedy show. It's still nerve-wracking, but it's becoming a lot bigger, and I think what we wanted in the first place was that it's friendly and supportive environment.
There's been a silence, a deafening silence, a lack of dialogue or communication about this shameful thing that's happening to us. How big is it? How bad is it? I still like doing drugs. Drugs are bad. It's just been it's a contentious issue. And I think when this evening first started, we were surprised at just how much of a thirst there was to come together and talk about this in a safe space of supporting people who get it, that we want to be a better community and happier individuals.
About sort of like 7 years ago or so. And I went out and I took G, and someone had asked me for some, forgetting that I'd taken some myself, took some more. And then I bumped into someone else that was going to Vauxhall, and I was like, yeah, I'll go there. And I mumbled something apparently and walked off in the direction of Tesco's. Then I remember falling over a fence and thinking, who puts a fence there? Why do you put a fence in the middle of a pavement? And I got off, dusted myself off, and I remember, I remember the feeling of looking out ahead of me and there's this puddle. And you know, I can't be bothered to go around, so I just walked straight through it. Anyways, I put my first foot in and my foot sinks. And I put my second foot in and I'm now up to my neck in water. And it's, you know, I come round, like, you know, not that you just come round, and I realised that I was in a lake, and I had no idea how I'd got there or how I'd got from, you know, Charing Cross to St James's Park. That should have been a wake-up call. And I remember a friend saying to me that night, you know, like, I didn't value my life when you first come onto the scene, and it's all great and everything, and it's all exciting, it's all a discovery. That's when it's fun. It stops being fun when it becomes the only thing.
This night, it's more than relevant, it's important. There is a need to address some of the complex issues that are impacting us as a gay community. I mean, we're 30 years into an HIV/AIDS epidemic that's traumatised. It made our sex dangerous and risky and complicated. Drugs became a tool that we use for fun or to manage some of those complications. Technology came into our lives with Grindr and different ways of hooking up. This is an important night because it gives a cultural, entertaining, but important space to have dialogue, to address all of those issues, and just to be gay brothers together in a space and talk about what's happening to us.
The only reason I got out of the life that I was in is because someone put a mirror up like that to my face and just said, this is who you are. And that's all I'm trying to do for the scene. Is just kind of put that mirror up there and say, well, this is what we are. The choice is ours. Do we stay like that or do we change it? But we've kind of got to evaluate what we're doing for the generation that comes behind us, because actually the generation that came before us did a lot for us. It's cool for us to be angry at the outside world and everything, that's fine, but we need to kind of be angry at ourselves for a little bit and sort of sort this out. But if you're complaining that people are like, oh yeah, gay people rave too much and, like, you know, all you do is rave, then do you really have a leg to stand on? But we've done it to ourselves.
But there was beauty in its danger. He doesn't love you, but he wants to bear back. He wants to feel your hatred and anger as you slap his ass like the connection of a hot grill on a rib rack.
I kind of left London to come to uni in Leeds, and I specifically chose a northern city because I needed to get as far away from the London club scene as possible. And it's not that I was running away, but it was I was trying to start something new. Just got to a point where, you know, someone calls you to find out what's going on that night, and like I'm at home asleep. Like, why have you called me to ask me? But when people know you for that and know that you're out all the time, and that's all you become as a clubber. I want it to be something different. I want it to be something more. I want to be something more. It's like a line I've written in one of my poems, and that's like, how do you fit into a world that aspires to be a scene boy when you want to be a god? Like, and I don't mean a god as in like, you know, like, but I mean someone that stands high. Like, my sights are set so much bigger than Old Compton Street or Brigade or Canal Street. That can't be the be-all and end-all of everything. It can't.
This is a thunderstorm in summer. With every thrust he's stabbed in his soul by a stranger. The only thing in common is the ground between his fag hags, Tina and Gina. Feel that warm pain rise from your basilic veins, straight up your arm and explode in your vein. He coughs from the back of his throat. Fireworks spark and his inhibitions go dark. Every man for himself as the phone fires up. Orange and black gunpowder as he searches for the next fuck.
David was the drugs counsellor at the sexual health clinic. He was Australian and smiled a lot. I didn't trust him. So, How are you?
ChemSex is something that we look like we're having a great time when we're high, but it's on the Tuesday when we're sitting at 16th Street, traumatised by what happened, people treating us badly, people injecting us when we don't want to be, people having sex with us when we're too high on drugs that does not fully consent. This is happening a lot, and people are coming here, maybe not necessarily talking about that, but hearing other people tell similar stories, and it changes their life. They know they're not alone, and they know there's a community and a brotherhood that supports them and cares.
Ever since I started coming into these meetings, my life has been changed completely. I've met so many people through these meetings and built a network of friends. It's been amazing.
Outside of the normal.
Yes, outside of the normal, the usual way of getting acquainted in people's houses naked.
He always wants to say more, but he fears he'll be judged. Or he won't get it right and end up feeling like a mug. It's at this point that I say goodbye, before the technician pulls the plug.